we have covered so many social issues, asking the question, what's it like? It's doggone about time that we started talking about business. And I can't think of two more interesting businesses to me than making films and making wine. And now in some theaters, you can drink wine and watch people's films that people like Sam Pillsbury make. First of all, very, very quickly, because the story is in itself fascinating, how do you move from the film industry into the vineyards?
Well, you know, it's very simple. People are often surprised by this, but I started making movies because I love movies. And after a short time of writing reviews for the college newspaper, I realized that was kind of cowardly, and why don't I just be brave enough to go out and do it myself? And I've enjoyed wine ever since I was about 13 years old, and somewhere along the line, about 25 years ago, I went, gee, why don't I just make it myself? It took me about 15 years to figure out how to keep making films because I needed the money for the wine business to get that going, but I figured it out, and one of the ways I figured it out was finding a place, which happens to be Arizona, where no one on earth would have believed that you could make wine there. And as a result, I could buy all this land for $400 an acre.
But you came from Connecticut, and you moved around the world, wound up for many years in New Zealand, and now you're here in Arizona. Is that the best decision in the world for a filmmaker and a winemaker? Is there anybody in Arizona legislatively that helps out either industry?
We get a little bit of help from the government from the state government, a little bit on wine. We're working on that. It looks like the legislature has canceled all the tax breaks for making movies here. And I came here making a movie. That's why I wound up here. That happened 21 years ago. And I've always loved the idea of Arizona, but I'd never been here. And, because we all grew up with this myth, the tombstone, red rocks, or, the cowboy thing. And my vineyard is about 20 miles east of Tombstone in Apache country, which is kind of curious. But, they just nix the tax breaks. And the simple truth is that the film company will go, barring certain things like it needs to look something like this, they'll go where it's cheapest to make the movie. And if you give them a tax break, they'll go there.
And the wine industries in so many states, the ones that are successful, mean hundreds of millions of dollars in income.
Yep.
And the movie industry, our neighbors, California, right? Say, where should we make our next film? Gee, Arizona, right to work, that's advantageous. Great climate, terrific locations. You're not going to make it sweet for us? We'll go to New Mexico.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just no question. It's very, very simple. It's staggering to me that something I told you earlier. 35 years ago, when I traveled to the States and Europe from New Zealand promoting my movies, almost everybody would say, where's New Zealand? Someone once said they thought it was near Greenland, Now when I say I'm from New Zealand, people say, oh, it's on my bucket list. I always want to go there. Guess what did that? Lord of the Rings, folks.
And Lord of the Rings, not just a movie, but an industry that has developed tourism across the entire country of New Zealand.
And produced a lot of revenue for the country, too.
Talk to us about wine. Talk to us about wine in Arizona. Where are we as compared with Arizona or with Oregon?
I think we're about 25 years behind, and I think that the same thing, my friend Dick Erath started growing Pinot Noir in outside of Portland over 25 years ago, and now he's one of the primary Pinot Noir growers in the U.S. I planted my first vineyard here 13 years ago, so I think we've got about another 13 years to go before we hit that level. That's what's on my schedule. But I got to tell you, it's really funny because so many people just, they think it's all Sonora Desert. And I have to remind people, the Grand Canyon's closed in the winter. It snows in the mountains. And we just go up high and everything's perfect up there.
All right, people right now are saying, Sam Pillsbury, he's a filmmaker. What movies? Name two.
Free Willy 3, Where the Red Fern Grows.
Those are pretty successful films.
The Quiet Earth, which was a cult classic, which is about a film I made in New Zealand about
science fiction
movie, yeah, and a whole bunch of little art house movies and TV cable movies.
What's your next one?
I don't know. I'm working on wine right now, but if a good one comes along, as long as I have total creative control over it, I'll be interested.
Then what's your next wine?
My next wine is a Shiraz co-ferment blend called Guns and Kisses that we're going to release next year, and it is in one of the. I've finally, after 13 years, I think I've made a Syrah that blows my mind.
Guns N' Roses, that's the rock and roll group.
Kisses, yeah.
Guns and Kisses is the wine. Sam Pillsbury, he's everywhere you look, including What's It Like on KTAR.com.